Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I want to pose an idea, a question that has occurred to me. A lot of times on Sunday mornings, I'll watch the shows that are on the Outdoor Channel, whether they be fishing shows or hunting shows. And I was watching this one program. I think his name is Jim Shockey. And he was traveling to, oh my gosh, someplace in another part of the world. I forget where it was, but he was after this. Oh, now I remember. It was in Afghanistan, on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And it was up in the mountains. It was so severe. And he talked about it was a really strange and type of mountain goat or mountain sheep that he was after. I guess it was beautiful to a hunter that wanted to shoot something that hardly anybody else had ever seen in the world. It was a trophy. But here's what he brought out. He said that the governments there, that hunting for these animals was the only way that they were able to preserve and conserve a species that might go extinct without the conservation effort of hunting. It keeps different species in check. And it's part of the natural world around us. We have other checks and balances that hopefully keeps each species in a certain balance with the rest of the species around them. That's why when an invasive species comes into a new area, it can destroy other species just because the balance of food and terrain, everything is sort of has to be kept in balance. And so it made me think of fishing. It made me think of all our concerns about the pressures that we put on fish and the things that we do that could serve almost, we become the invasive species to some extent. But can we spin that in the opposite end of the spectrum and look at it that maybe because of what we do as fishermen, in spite of all the directives and policies of the conservation groups like the biologists and the DEC and so forth, maybe us continuing to fish for these fish keeps them, and now I'm thinking of the monster smallmouth in the St. Lawrence River, maybe it keeps them in balance far more than we might have understood. First of all, because just the pressure we put on them, the fish that we take, and some of them may not make it no matter what we try to do to keep them alive, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the balance of these species would go out of kilter and they would start to sort of destroy themselves in a sense. Now, I know I'm being philosophical. I'm going out there with other thoughts, but I wonder if those other thoughts are as crazy as I'm making them, because I want you to also realize that for decades and decades of my life, there were periods of time we can say that fishing was much better years ago or that more people fish years ago. No. The amount of people that have sort of used fishing now as a way to escape the pressures and the stress of what exists in their regular life, I think is more than ever before. There's more people fishing. There's so many more improvements in how we go after these fish that to me it tips the balance way in our favor. And yet the fish are bigger. They seem more prevalent than in so many. I think of times in the past, people would come up in the St. Lawrence River from other areas, and if they caught a 3-pound smallmouth, that was a giant. That was fantastic. Now, 3-pound smallmouths people don't hardly look at them, at least those people that are pursuing these monsters in the St. Lawrence River. And so I wonder, no matter how much we talk about all the things we got to do to protect these fish and they're in such danger from gobies and they're, maybe just because we do pressure them, maybe we're keeping these species in balance in a way that we're not aware of, and maybe it's a really good thing. I hope so, because I champion fishing in this area. I believe it's our greatest resource. I believe it's our greatest draw to bring people from other parts of the country to experience all the other great things that are part of our area. If they didn't have a reason to come up here and try it, then they would never know what this area really is about. And I know that we've got our failings. Every place does. We're human beings. But for all of that, the pace of life, the beauty of life, the smiles that you see on people's face that you might not see in more urban areas, There's a lot of great things about this area, and I'm going to continue to champion the thing that I think may be the greatest, which is the wonderful fishing world that exists all around us. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.